Alrighty, so we're back with another crappy video. This is of the Rock Pirates truck, Peaches. Great looking truck right there. So basically, a lot has been different with this truck. A lot happened. It's definitely evolved into what it is now. So we're going to go over why it's different and how everything's been holding up and just the quality of these parts and just how much I love them. I love this truck. Let's start by saying that. It handles great. Everything's set up so nicely. And the way these parts are machined and everything like that is really nice as well. Gives you a lot of opportunity. The first thing I could say about this truck is that it needs some kinks worked out with it, because this is my first time building one of these. But other than that, it does pretty damn good. So I'm going to get into it and just take off. The cab did get chopped, so I do want to put a bumper on here, because the reason it got chopped was actually not that I wanted to chop it, but I did shoot a large crack right up the side here when I was crawling on the big rocks at my little killer line strip that I do at them big rocks. Look at the last video. It's a cool video. First time ever doing something like that, and it was awesome. But I've been going once a week and practicing, getting better, so I'm super happy with that. But I can throw a bumper on here. It'll cover about 75%, probably about up to here. My buddy has one, and we matched it up, and it looks pretty good. So I'm going to order one, whether it's IRC or an Amazon special. They got them for like 20 bucks on Amazon, and it'll actually look pretty good. So yeah, starting off with the front, like I said, bumper needs to be done. Definitely put a bumper on your guys's, unless you're doing some like crazy lines. You really don't need a bumper, or you have 2.2s. I definitely want to go to the sliders. Now, I have one gripe with these sliders, and it's that if you don't have something to retain the Power Wagon body on the other side, so pretty much what I mean by that is like my ESC is squished between the slider side and the ESC. That's where the body goes. Basically, my body slips in there with no problem. I'll show you guys right now. Is that it doesn't go anywhere. Now, this side, obviously, I have a lightweight going in the center, so I do have that poke, and it'll get stuck there. So what I found as a solution is when you lift up the cab and you put fingerboard tape, which is like foam tape, it doesn't move whatsoever. So yeah, definitely put down like a foam tape, and it also quiets down your cab if you don't have mounts in the back of the cab. Before, I did have bed mounts because I had a toolbox here, and there's little pins that went through, and you just slide the body in from this bottom clip here, and it would just sit on the pins. Well, anymore I don't have that. You can tell where the box was on the cab. But I don't have that anymore because the bed is absolutely ka-chowed. So I do have these plastic braces, which is really good looking. I'm doing a Rock Pirates RC bed because I can't stand the sight of that whatsoever. But yeah, so other than that, I think that was my only gripe with the rock sliders. They are made out of this really thick steel, and the paint that they put on here is like a heavy-duty, like a liner, and it deflects rocks pretty good. It does chip after a while, which is, you know, even cooler, because if you get some surface rust on there, it'll look awesome. Fit the 40s Power Wagon look. Frame rails, I mean, I really don't have anything to say about them. They're pretty good. I love their panhard bar mount. Just absolutely love it. But yeah, I don't really have a problem with their flat rail. As long as you have supports in the back, you're good. I didn't have supports in the back for a little bit, so I did notice a little bit of bendage. But as soon as I put that support on, I was in shape there. So we're all squared away now. A bed's gonna be great in there. I'm gonna probably chop where the bed comes down, because I'm not looking to put anything else as a support, and I don't want to have this extra hanging off the back here. What to say about this chassis is that running the front fully compressed pretty much, that's all I got right here, and the back a little bit more raised, is that you do have better clearance on the bottom, and with the high clearance links, it pretty much ties it all in, as you can tell right there. I do like these high clearance links. It definitely makes a big, large difference, especially on some big rocks. And I had to upgrade those because the other ones bent. I think in the video I told you guys they bent. And when I got back from that video, I actually put the high clearance on. The front end, I haven't had any problems yet. It's still the stock base camp links. But the rear, I do have the Vanquish links in there. And I also broke these links on top here. The plastic uppers in the rear. And I do have metal links for that now too. So that's going to be nice. Other than that, the chassis is really nice. I love it. It's very sturdy. And I'm going to get into now the long term of everything. All right, so just to stop the video real quick, head over to the socials at Sanchez Crawlers, and you can see all the other content with these shaders right here. And yeah, so follow us along on there if you want to see all the other content that's not on YouTube. And yeah, peace. Let's get back to the video. So I am still running this axial 3 gear in here, the stock one that I threw a metal gear in. Still plastic spur. I mean, I don't think there's any reason to change that. Still plastic drive shaft. Keeping the plastic drive shafts because I'd rather have the drive shafts go than anything else in the truck. You know, good little weak point there because there's really not many weak points in this. And this motor's got a lot of torque. I've broken links, blown out axles, and yeah. So running these axles are pretty nice. I do have one thing to say about the front, which I'll get into in a second when I move up there. But I'm still running the same split spectrum system, the 2100, I believe. And I'm still running the same servo. Definitely changing this to either a Reefs or NSDRC. And the battery tray, I mean, it's just awful. Nah, I'm just playing. Can't really beat up a battery tray. It clears the drive shaft at full compression. And yeah, it keeps the battery pretty much level with the portal axle at its lowest point. So it's at that flat margin of the crawler where all the weight is at. It's center of gravity. I'll get ready for the front end. So I absolutely hate these axles front ends. I'm not a fan just because of these universals. I'm sure a company makes better ones, but if you can't tell in here, you might be able to tell a little bit in there without the grease, but they are wallowed out. Meaning that when you're up in the air, say you're on 2 wheels and you're on a rock and you hit the gas, well, it actually hesitates because it's spinning. It's hard to explain, but this is how much play I have in this axle, about an inch of play in rotation. So that's kind of sad. And I've lost a couple pretty good lines like that. So basically the truck would get up on its side like this, and you'd go to hit the gas and it'd finally engage and really like hit it real hard, and the truck would move and it'd just throw off your center of gravity. So it sucks for the stillness. Definitely going to throw some different axles there because I don't like how that is coming along there with all this weight. I believe that's the problem, but it's this one that's the worst. This one's not horrible, but this one's just absolutely sloppy. I do have a lot of weight up front, the big trio outers, the same X diff cover, and everything like that. These wheels are not weighted. I had to change from the weighted ones because of how much weight was actually up front. I do want to put weight on all 4 sides, so it's still heavier up front, but just more weight down low. So the center of gravity is going to be real down low and planted. I do have to say, I like these shocks with 30-weight wheel, about 75% of the way, bled out. They are really nice. These shocks don't compress unless they're flexed anyway. It gets decent flex. I mean, I'd say like 4 inches, which is pretty good. And yeah, so the overall of this truck is it's pretty damn good. I do want to do a lot more things to it, which I'll get into that in a second. But judging off the parts and everything like that and how everything's holding up, and I really do beat this thing up and I drive it a lot, and everything's pretty good on this truck. I'm going to throw the body back on and tell you guys the other stuff that I was talking about. So to the things I want to do to this baby. Nah, I'm just playing. I do want to do a couple things. Most of it's going to stay the same way it is right now. The biggest thing would probably be tires. I like the high racks. I'm a round tire kind of guy, so maybe the BF Goodrich's. Not sure. But maybe we're going to change them. I might keep them like that. I'm not sure. I was running Mickey Thompson Baja Pros on the Ford. So maybe a set on this. See how that works out. Or maybe even the J Concepts tires that everybody likes, that are pretty much like the Baja Pros up there, but they're very low profile. Getting a bed for it, definitely. Keeping the shocks for now because it's not a immediate has to do. And I do want to do billet axles. So I might go with Trio just for the sheer fact of cost, but I really would like to do Vanquish. So if I come up on a deal or an offer for some Vanquish axles that's cheaper than brand new, I'll probably do them. But if we're upgrading to Vanquish axles, we're definitely doing a straight axle. So this whole truck would change and it'd be a lot lower, a lot more cheater-like and everything on that extent, which I probably won't do that anyway because that's going to be the straight axle truck as a kind of, spoiler. I want to do a straight axle on my own custom chassis in there. So yeah, so thank you guys for watching my crappy video on my Power Wagon. This is my first couple times making videos here on YouTube. I think it's my 7th video. I'm not even keeping track. I'm just going and grinding. I just love doing all this RC content, guys. I love building them and showing you guys the goods, the bads, and how fun it is to just get outside and just drive RC. So God bless you guys, and stay safe, stay humble, keep on tiny trucking, and yeah, get back on the trails because you shouldn't be on the street.